Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 3 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. February 5th, 2021. Lost track of the days yet again. That's pretty common anymore. Sorry for kind of like the late scramble start for today. I've been a little bit off. Today was a day I took my one of my daughters to the dentist for today, so that was an ordeal. We had to go and we wore double masks, and then they got there and they were like, put this mask on top of your mask. And I was like, we already got two on. They're like, put it on top anyway. So we put triple mask for today. It seemed very strange, but other people were there. I mean, the dentists were there. We all had like masks and double masks and face shields. And it was a lot of, I don't know. My daughter handled it well, but I was kind of like, this is a lot of people inside kind of thing. So that threw me off. I'm just exhausted now. And I've just been off all day. Forgot to upload a thumbnail. Forgot to schedule this live stream. I also was on Instagram Live with Thomas at Believe in the Run. And so like just my day's been really weird. So trying to like reset myself, even though usually by the time I hit the live stream, it's kind of like the live stream is like at the top of the day for me, and then everything's nice and downhill from there. So that's where I'm at today. I'm a little bit off balance, but you know, it's good. We made it to the end of the week. We're here. Everybody that's listening in on the podcast audio only version, welcome. Hopefully having a good run out there today. Hopefully you're staying warm and are staying dry and kind of like on your feet. I know it's going to be messy conditions for a lot of people out there today. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Everyone watching this on YouTube after the fact, not live, welcome. Feel free to interact in the comments. Anyway, I'm looking at those comments, so definitely will be paying attention there, and I appreciate you guys. Let's see who's here. We got Roberto Davila was the first one in here today. Awesome. And Ines is here as well. Says happy Friday. And here's Martha. Good to see everybody. Runner Dre, Rick Sutter's here. Says happy Friday, bitter, cold, windy, and icy conditions equals another treadmill workout while watching the live stream. Oh, that's nice. See, I'm thinking that I think that there could be a lot of demand, not demand. I don't think it's a thing that'll be demanded, but like once it exists, like a 24-hour running channel, it's kind of like before CNN existed, you know, no one ever thought that people would want 24-hour news. Look at this giant like origami popsicle. I thought I'd call it a pop. It's basically paper boats, but she lined them up at different colors and then made a cardboard handle for it. It's ice cream. Thank you. Looks nice. But I feel like with CNN, like before CNN was like a thing, you know, people were like, why would anyone want to watch news for 24 hours? What are you going to talk about? I feel like if you had like a running programming on 24 hours a day, people want to jump on a treadmill 24 hours a day. You know, I feel like it could be a thing. I'm pushing. I don't know that I'm pushing for it, but if someone else were to do it and need someone to fill in like a random like graveyard shift time slot, I could do it. That's that, or I'd like to, I still would like to be an audiobook narrator. Those are like my two like weird kind of like niche. I don't know how to get those jobs or even try to get those jobs, but I want those jobs. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to get there, but I'm putting it out there into the universe, that kind of thing. Jonas here says, hey, everyone, hope you're having a great day. Did an easy run today, and right foot was in pain, so I'm taking the weekend off. I think that's a good thing to do, especially if, I mean, I don't know what the weather is going to be like for you, but here in the U.S., most of this country is going to be under some cold or inclement weather. So this weekend, probably a good time to take some time off. Although tomorrow I've got another speed workout, and it's going to be like 8 degrees or 9 degrees Fahrenheit when I'm out there on my run. And there'll be wind. There may be wind. So I'm a little bit concerned because I was out there on the trail today, or the path, and it was clear, plowed and salted, but like there's like a layer of crunchy ice underfoot. So like just trying to move quickly is going to be interesting. See how it goes. Yeah, Scott said it took YouTube a bit to show the stream. Yeah, I think it's because I just jumped in at the last second. Everything was last minute today. That might be why. Sorry about that. All right, let's see. We got a super chat coming in from Zeth. Where'd it go? Zeth Paterka says, happy Friday. Thanks for the great content. Thanks so much, Zeth. Great to have you here. Thanks so much for the super chat. I'm super happy that you're enjoying it. Awesome. Today I put out the video for the Pamu Quiet Mini. Where are they? They're over there where I film. a good set of earbuds. Pretty excited about it. That's going to be my new go-to recommendation for if someone's looking for under $100 the earbuds to get. It's those. So yeah, and I'm pretty excited about next couple of days. Videos are going to be interesting. The one I'll tell you about. Usually I save this for the end of the live stream, but I'll tell you guys about it now since we're talking about content. Is tomorrow I'll have the carbon rocket. No, rocket. The names always confuse me because they all like are similar. Rocket X versus Carbon X2, which is going to be coming out tomorrow. So that'll be a fun one to put together. And then after that, I'm going to leave it a little bit more of a surprise. We'll see. Well, yeah. We'll see timing wise when it comes out. But I got a couple of new things in that I think are going to be pretty fun. Stuff that you guys have kind of been asking for too. So pretty excited about that. I didn't think I'd be able to get to these, but I'm going to get to them. So excited about that. So lots of fun stuff coming down the pike. Thanks everybody for your continued support. All right. Philip's going on run streak today. 36. 16K from Sunset to Darkness. Not one run under 10K this week so far. Wow, nice. Awesome. Yeah, 36 days, all over 10K. Pretty nice. Well, not all of the 36, but this week, he says. So really nice work. Very good. Chris Yao's here. Awesome. Good to see you again, Chris. And Recycle on Wednesday says, hi, everyone. Kevin Bickerton says, happy Friday. And CV76 says, yo, what's going on? Ooh, the other thing that I wanted to remind you guys about tomorrow, I'm pretty sure we've got it finalized, but I think we got it finalized enough. I got to do some more work, but we got finalized for tomorrow. Jamie's going to be coming on. My cousin will be here tomorrow. He's going to join in for the live stream. No, nothing specific to talk about. Just I haven't seen him in a while. I haven't talked to him in a while. I felt like, that would be a fun thing to do. So that'll be tomorrow as well. So lots of fun stuff. David Prabo says, happy Friday to all. Awesome. Stevie76 says, you got to go with quadruple masks. I mean, do we get there? I mean, at that point, I was thinking that today I would go into the dentist's office. I mean, the dentist's office is a place where you sit there and open your mouth wide, right? So I mean, that's a place that just like makes me nervous. But like I was thinking, like, I have that face shield. I was like, do I wear the face shield today? Are people going to think that I'm messing around if like a grown man wears a face shield? But then like all the dentists had face shields and the hygienists had face shields on too. So I'm like, it must not be that way. But theirs don't look like mine. Mine I bought on Amazon, and it's like for like work, like construction work kind of stuff. Theirs are like the kind that are clearly made for healthcare professionals. So it looks different. But I definitely thought about it. Yeah. Adam C says, hey all, some great running YouTube content this week. Cheers to Kofuzi and others. Yeah, dude, you know what? People have been stepping up. I don't know if it's like a lot of the YouTubers have had like New Year's resolutions or like have been reinvigorated after the holidays or what it is, but people have been stepping up. A lot of people have been making a lot of regular content that I've been enjoying a lot lately. I want to say it feels like more often than usual. To be honest, I don't know anyone's like regular like posting schedule. So like I can't necessarily say, but I feel like people are posting more often, and I've really been enjoying it too. So I've been watching a lot more Ben Parks. I've been watching Jason Fitzgerald. It's mostly him. For him, it's mostly like talking head, but I don't know if you guys watch his videos. He's a coach. He's a pretty fast runner in his own right. He was also one of the speakers at the Rambling Runner Virtual Summit. So he's been making a bunch of videos lately, and I've been watching a lot of those. Trying to think who else I've been watching a lot of. I've just been really enjoying a lot of content this week. Jeff Elliott says, what time is the Instagram thing? Well, the Instagram thing was already earlier today. It was pretty short. It was like 15 minutes, maybe less than that, when I was on Believe in the Run's Instagram, their live feed, like Instagram Live. That was earlier today, but I think it also showed up in their regular feed. So if you just go to their page, you should be able to find it pretty easily. Yeah, Martha, I was talking about how I'm feeling a little bit discombobulated today. She says, we're just glad you're here. Thank you. Pete G says, Kofuzi, how's it going? Have you seen the new Saucony Endorphin Speed? They look pretty nice. Someone tweeted at me a picture of like one version of the next Saucony Endorphin Speed. I don't know why. I just said that really funny. the endorphin speed. And it was like in this like finish line, like checkered flag kind of pattern. And I feel like if shoe companies were serious about like not wanting people to be able to figure out what the shoe looks like, instead of using zebraflash, they would use whatever that Saucony print is. I'm not a huge fan of that print. It makes me not want to look at the shoe. But I was just trying to check out, like, the only thing I really wanted to change is some of the stuff in the heel, like that heel cup, that plastic like stuff. They're kind of like chevrons, but not. I don't know. I just didn't really like that part. It looked like a wrinkled forehead to me, so I didn't really like that part. Hopefully they changed that. It looks like they might have changed it a little bit, but other than that, I don't think I got a good look at it. So either way, I'm going to pick up another pair. I'm going to get the number 2, but like depending on what like the launch color or pattern is, I might wait a little bit. I'm not sure. This year, I think I'm going to wait a little bit longer on shoes. I'm not going to try and like get the first one like the day they come out. That's something I'm trying to do. Yeah, I just feel like I've been doing a lot of rushing. So I just think I need to do more of getting shoes when like it makes sense for me to have them. Andreas Kaluza says, "Hiya, what's going on, Andreas?" And you know what? If looks like we got 120 people in here so far today. Awesome. If we got any people who are new today, I'd love to hear where you're watching from. If you feel comfortable sharing that with us, or if you just want to hang back and take it all in, that's totally cool as well. And if anyone's come here today with a question, whether you're new or not, feel free to put it into the chat. I'll try to get it as they kind of scroll up. Sometimes I miss them though. So if it's been a while, I haven't answered your question, please feel free to type it in again. I started to make it like repeat yourself, but if you want to make sure you get that question answered, feel free to put it in there and I'll definitely catch it then. All right. Let's see. Bert's here. What's going on, Bert? How are you? Steve just got back from 8 miles. Soaking wet, 43 degrees frozen, going for a shower now. That's the worst. Like wet and like right above freezing. It's just so unbearable for me. I'd rather have 10, 15 degrees, and windy than 40 degrees and raining. That just go warm up, Steve. That sounds terrible. Will Willing had 2 1-mile repeats yesterday. 1 mile on, 1 mile recovery, 1 mile on, 1 mile recovery. First sub 8-minute miles. Whoa, awesome. 2 of them, nonetheless, too. All right, let me get that cowbell out. 7:44 and 7:40, smashing that 8-minute mark. Great job, Will. Nicely done. Oh, my daughter reminds me that we have regular bells here too, so I could also use these regular bells. We do actually have actual cowbell, not actual cowbells, but like for sporting events cowbells. In the house somewhere, but those are super. The ones we have are super loud, super loud. Because the Chicago Marathon goes right by our house, and the girls always just have to get to go outside just to cheer. And because of that, I was like, one year I was like, we got to get nice ones, not like like a high school band quality level of cowbell or like a actual musician's cowbell caliber, but like not the ones that they give away for free. So something in between that. So we got some nice ones, but they are very, very loud. All right, Bert's planning. I think a lot of people are having to do some planning around the weather right now. Bert's saying he has to do his long run on Saturday because the snowstorm is coming in on Sunday. Yeah, I think that we got a bunch of snow last night. It got warm and then it snowed a ton and then it got really cold. And then I don't know what's going to happen the next couple of days precipitation wise, but I know it's going to be cold and windy, like Arctic air coming in from Canada. So yeah, it's going to be a difficult couple of days. Even today, it wasn't terrible out. It was let's see, like 12 degrees, something like that, and a bit windy. And when that wind comes off the lake, it's stiff. Yeah, it took me a good 5 or 6 miles to kind of like get into a rhythm today. And then at that point I was like, oh man, you know what? Maybe I'll go a little bit longer today. I was going to go 8, maybe I'll go 10. But then like my fingers, even though I had 2 pairs of gloves and hand warmers, my fingers were just like, they wouldn't warm up. And I was like, no, I got to work out tomorrow. I think we're just going to go in and head in today. So that's like the situation right now. Jack Ash 1975 says sun is out in STL, bracing for the frigid temps arriving tomorrow. Yeah, stay warm out there, buddy. And Rick says, I appreciate the company of the live stream while on the treadmill. Much easier. I feel like that should be it. I mean, I don't know how you would do that, but like that could be an interesting add-in on like Zwift or one of those other like the treadmill apps, or like like Nordic Track. I was iFit, Nordic Tracks, or like Peloton, because Peloton has tread now, right? So something like that. That means you could like either have like an actual like group fitness workout with like an instructor yelling at you. I don't think they yell at you the whole time, but like with an instructor. Or there's another one, you could just be like people, like other runners chatting, like the kind of things that you would hear if you were in a big run group. I feel like I kind of like that, because I do like that about Zwift, is that like on the side, the chat goes by. I do like that, but like when but on that you're like trying to interact. The interacting part is hard, but like if there was more of a passive kind of like not sit down experience because I'm on the treadmill, but another, I don't know. I think I would like that more. Jeff Elliott says, with the crazy fall marathon schedule, I think this might be a big year for running as a televised sport. Yeah, I think it could be. Because there's still the Olympics as well, and there's always kind of like that bump in interest from the Olympics. I think that I was on Twitter yesterday. There was an announcement saying that a lot of the Bowerman Track Club athletes were going to be competing in a meet tomorrow. Is it? I think tomorrow, or is it today? Is it right now? I don't know. But like I think that there's these kind of like quirky, like one-off events that a random assortment of people who all happen to be like really high caliber athletes are getting together. And it kind of like reminds me from reading that book Players. I forget who wrote that. Was it Hutchinson who wrote that? But talking about like kind of the early days of like professional golf, where there really wasn't a PGA yet, and the PGA, when it did exist, really wasn't getting like giant like television money because there wasn't an audience for it yet. So what ended up happening was some of the stars at the time would just have kind of like head-to-head kind of like competitions, and they would televise it. And those, like, they weren't part of any sort of series or cup or tournament round or any sort of like league structure. It was just a spectacle of watching two people that were really good at this sport, three people really good at the sport, playing against each other. And that kind of like started to spark interest. And that's kind of what some of these events are reminding me of. Doesn't help, I think, that like people find out about them like 2 days beforehand, and it's like Super Bowl weekend as well. But I think that like, when people are thinking less about like, well, I want to make sure I place well, and I've got 6 other races on my calendar, and do I do this one, and make it really strategic, then you're not getting as stacked a field. But like when it's like there's no races and everyone is itching to compete, and then you're getting some pretty stacked field, it makes for an interesting spectacle. So I don't know how we're going to be able to watch that race, that track meet, if it's going to be on stream somehow, but I'm interested. I'd like to figure that out. Gustavo Roman says, any thoughts on the New Balance Rebel version 2 just announced? I don't have any personal thoughts on it because I've seen some photographs, and I have a sense of what the early buzz is. And the early buzz is very, very good. So I'm excited to get it, but I think the new date for that shoe is like April 15th. So like, I'm not ready to think about it. Part of like my whole, like, I'm not going to worry about shoes before, like, I'll get them when I'm ready to get them. Like, part of the other thing is I'm not going to worry about that shoe until like we get even just a little bit closer. I feel like the date on that shoe, look at this thing. My daughter brought even more of a concoction over here. But I think that that the date on that shoe has moved once already. So, I think that what's going to happen with that shoe is I'm guessing that UK is probably going to get it a little bit before the US. And then, so I don't know if it'll be like a, worldwide same day rollout. So like, I'll get it when I get it, but I'm looking forward to it. Brian James Pons and Dr. Nick Foy says, hi, everybody. That was a great character. My favorite Dr. Nick was, "Hi, oh, this is my good friend, Mr. McCraig, with a leg for an arm and an arm for a leg." That was a good one. Anyone remember that? All right. Spencer says about my daughter's concoction. Very pretty. Thank you. Let's see. What shoe did I saw some shoe today. Oh, I saw the I think it's the production version of the Artist. The midsole has kind of like a almost like grill marks type of, but very, very small, like grill marks type of pattern on the outsole, at least on the sidewalls of it. Looks pretty good. Looks interesting. So that's a shoe that I saw today. What else did I also just see today? Milos is asking if I'd seen the new Vivo Primos Lite 3. I'm not sure. I've never seen that before. I don't even know what Vivo is, I'm afraid. I also saw a photo of who had it. It was it Traxta? I think it was Traxta. It was the 361. Just I don't know if they announced it, but I saw images today of a carbon plated racer from 361. That I think is super interesting. So it looks amazing. I really want to try it, but we'll see. All right. Frank Lahiller says, "What's your theory about carb loading?" I mean, I think it's important because you need to have the carbs in your system for a while to kind of like stock up and load up on your energy stores. I think that sometimes I feel like people overcomplicate it and think about the numbers. Kind of like akin to the discussion we had yesterday, where we were talking about like, oh, this has like 350 milligrams of salt and like this many carbs and this many grams of protein and all that, and we're like, yeah, and a piece of pizza has like 6 times of all of those things. But like sometimes I feel like people get really like meticulous about like what are the numbers that I'm taking in. I just feel like maybe we're making it too hard. But I've also bonked on my last couple of races, so I'm probably not thinking about it enough. I lately have been making sure that like I'll usually on the night before a long run or a workout, like tonight I have a workout tomorrow, so tonight I will probably like chug a couple of servings of Gatorade or some other kind of just sugary drink before I go to bed. So I've been doing that, and then I usually make sure to eat some sort of snack beforehand. The thing though that I feel like that I'm not sure about, and I feel like a registered dietitian would probably be the better person to talk to about it, is should we be carb loading 48 hours beforehand? Everyone does it the night before. I've been a little bit reluctant to do that because I'm always worried about poop and having like a very full system the night before a race. I just feel like you're asking for trouble. But I also feel like to get like the full benefits of carb loading, don't we need to really be loading up 48 hours before and then just like kind of staying topped up 24 hours before? I don't know. That's kind of my thoughts on it. Right. John Julian says, yes, a few days before is better. That's what I thought. And Martha says, a lot of fat isn't good before races, I promise. But I agree. I completely agree with you. That being said, I have had very good luck with eating pizza before races. I think maybe because my baseline is a relatively high pizza consumption rate, so just keeping things normal, not disrupting the equilibrium too much. I know that makes no sense, and I'm only half serious about it. But yeah. Milo says, real foods are better for storage of carbs on a regular basis. Eating a bit more before a race can help a little, but not as much as you would think. Huh, interesting. And Zach Bag says, Seth has mentioned before that he does do it 48 hours before the race. That's what I was saying. That's what I was thinking. Luis Ribeiro says, carb loading is eating a lot to be happy in the day before a race. I think that there's like, there's a little bit of handling some of the nervous energy that can kind of go with that too. But yeah, maybe. I mean, I guess it depends on like how have you been eating beforehand. I always feel like just changing up a lot, like the night before, or even the week before a race, is probably also not a very good idea. Yeah, and that's what Rats Chicago is saying. Consistency is key. Your body knowing it's going to be fueled is where it's at. There we go. Albert Lung says, "Who doesn't worry about poop?" Yeah. I mean, I think some people don't worry about poop as much as I do. I think a lot of people are more worried about like gastrointestinal distress from like their gels and stuff. I don't ever worry about that. I'm very lucky. I don't, knock on wood, that I continue to be that lucky. I don't never have to worry about that, but I am always worried. I'm like the day of a race, like I don't like the races when there's long lines for the porta potty because my body always just feels like it has to go. Even like stepping out of the porta potty, I'll be like, I should probably just get back in this line again. So I don't know. That's kind of where that's what my body does. Dr. Josh wants to know who's eating their beets today. I have not. Beets are so underrated. But here's the thing: I love beets. They're so good. I love them, like roasted beets, like goat cheese, as like a warm appetizer kind of thing. So delicious. But I hate making beets. They just stain everything. That's like there's a couple of foods that I just like dislike making at home, but love eating at a restaurant. Beets is one of them. Yeah. Like if I ever have, I mean, I never will, but like if I had a personal chef, we would frequently eat beets in our house because they're so good, so tasty. And the colors are so vibrant and they come in a lot of different colors, but I just hate making them. They seem like a lot of work. I've been seeing a lot of drinks, like recovery drinks and like protein shakes and other kinds of just like, athletic related drinks, having like beet extract or like beet powder or freeze dried beets, like pulverized. I'm not sure how they have beets, but beets is a word that frequently comes up. So I feel like I'm like I like beets before beets were cool. I don't get enough of them. That's the problem. Jeff Elliott says, I've had good luck with apple fritters before races. Yeah. Well, you got a little bit of sweet, a little bit of fat in there. Yeah, that sounds good. All right. Where did something? Oh, looks like we had something from. What was the name on that? There we go. Oh man, I'm really far behind. Just jumped. Was it Zeth that I saw? No, I saw that. I'll get to this one and then I'll get to them. I see it right now. Zeth says racing is back in Seattle. Under state guidelines, they can do races with under 600 people with no more than 200 starting per hour in small groups, separated by at least a minute. Whoa, that's amazing. Because Washington State, I feel like Washington State had some pretty strict guidelines pretty early on. So the fact that you guys are getting back to it, that's great news. Awesome, Zach. What are you going to sign up for? Are people like all of a sudden, are there a lot of suddenly like announcements like, hey, we're putting this race on. We normally do it in October, but we didn't do it last year, so we're going to do it in March this year. I wonder if this is just going to be like a flood of events. All right. Sad Isan says, what does carb loading even encompass? I know it's essentially just eating a lot of carbs before races, but isn't the goal essentially just eating in a caloric surplus before the race? Not necessarily. The goal is, you wouldn't do it to eat like an Atkins meal of just like all protein and fat, right? So that's not the goal. The goal is to restore glycogen stores because you could always top up just like by ingesting quick sugars that your body will instantly digest. But like deep in your muscles is your glycogen stores, and that's what you want to build up. When you hit the wall, when you bonk, like when you've hit the wall in a marathon or in a longer race, you could drink all the Gatorade you want, but you're not going to be able to keep going. Even if you give your body 15, 20 minutes to absorb it all, you're not going to suddenly be like, all right, now I'm good to go. Once the glycogen stores are gone, you're kind of like done. Your day is done, right? And so the idea with the carb loading is to make sure you fill all that up. So that way everything is topped up, your long-term sugar stores and your short-term sugar stores, which will be easy to do like the morning of. You want to make sure everything's topped up. So that's kind of the concept of what you're trying to do. That's my understanding. I'm not a registered dietitian, but that's what I think. Daniel says, I heard Walmsley eats pizza 5 to 6 times a week. That's awesome. I feel like we need to start like a Chuck Norris style. I heard Walmsley ... I feel like we should like make the legend of Walmsley grow. I heard Walmsley eats pizza 5 to 6 times a week. That's amazing. I like that. I mean, it depends. I don't know what the pizza's like in Flagstaff. He lives in Flagstaff, right? I don't know what the pizza's like over there. You know, pizza is very different. Once you kind of, I don't know. I feel like once you cross over the Appalachian Mountains, pizza becomes a very different thing. There's a narrow band where pizza is very different than what I think of when I think of pizza, but still delicious. Some of my favorite, like west of the Appalachians, is probably like Detroit style pizza. But then, like once you cross like the Mississippi, then yeah, it's a toss up. Who knows what you're really getting? So the pizza that Woms eat may be like nutritionally very different than what I'm thinking of, but still, it's probably a lot of cheese for a runner to be eating. Lucien de Rubempre says de Rubempre, right? Am I saying that right? Lucien says bananas make me sleepy and grumpy. Bananas make me grumpy, but that's because I can never get them open. I just usually avoid them. But the other day I did eat a banana and it was covered in black spots. Like once it starts to go, I'm usually like throw it away. And my wife's like, no. If it's too dark to eat, we put it in the freezer and we make banana bread. And I'm like, I don't care. I can't eat that. That looks like it's rotten. But I ate one anyway. I think I was just really hungry. And I opened it up and it wasn't spotted on the inside. And it was really tasty, but very mushy. It's the texture I don't like. Albert Lung says chocolate milk apparently does wonders for a recovery right after a run. We were talking about that yesterday. A couple of people drink chocolate milk for their recovery runs. And Namaste says drink beer like the carbo load, like the Tahamarans. Were they drinking beer the night before? Oh, interesting. I don't think that they were drinking beer though. They were drinking something else. I know it probably wasn't like beer, but like they were not drinking like a lightly fermented beverage. I think they were drinking something else. Jennings 76 says my best half marathon was done on a full English breakfast. Oh man, I like full English breakfast. You know, what I do like about the English breakfast is that it's very savory. I like savory breakfasts a lot. Again, to get into like the regionality of foods in the Midwest and like the U.S., the Midwest tends to really like for a part of the country that does a lot of like work, especially like in the agrarian parts of the Midwest. There is a surprising amount of sweets at breakfast. I mean, like a farm breakfast to me is like multiple kinds of basically lots of meats with a side of eggs. But you know, at least in Chicago, like when you go out to breakfast, like there's a small section for like omelets and egg dishes, and then the rest of the menu is like waffles and whipped cream. It's weird. It's very much a dessert. I don't like that kind of breakfast. The full English breakfast, I can get behind that. Although I wouldn't eat everything in a full English breakfast anymore. Stevie76 wants to know, have I ever bumped into Pierre Lambert, Chicago street photographer with a YouTube channel? I don't know who that is, but I've never bumped into him. Someone else that's in Chicago, I think he's in the suburbs though. This DSLR video shooter, he's somewhere in the area, but I've never like seen him out. But you know, I don't see anyone out anymore really. And then Eric Floberg is around here somewhere. I think he's up in the North Shore. I think he has a YouTube channel. He's a photographer, but I've never seen him out running either. But I think we run in very different places. You know who I do think I saw today? I'm not sure, but I saw this woman running twice now, and I'm pretty sure it's her. I need to check. Maybe I don't know if she's on Strava or not. But do you guys know who Judy Prendergast is? I don't know how to say her name. Prendergast, Judy P. She's friends with Emma Abrahamson when they were both at Oregon. Judy transferred to Harvard and is running at Harvard now, I think. But I don't know if Harvard's like not in session or like they're still all virtual. Because I've been seeing this woman, very red hair, running the past couple of days on the lakefront path. Today, this person was like head to toe covered because it was really cold out. But I could see like a sliver of face and then very red hair behind it and an H sweatshirt. And I thought, is that Harvard? So I think I saw Judy Pendergrass today. I've been seeing a lot of the other local like elites around here. They like because I've been going north towards like where the track is, and that's where they all like drive and park up there, and then they do their workouts up there. And that part of the trail is usually much more well cleared, suitable for faster racing for these elites that are out there. So I've been seeing a lot of them, and it's just kind of been like, hey guys, I'm the selfie stick dude. I don't really wave at them, but we definitely make eye contact. And I'm like, oh, you guys are the fast guys. And they're like, oh, you're the weird one. So that's who I bump into. Bernardo XC says, it's the fueling during a marathon that matters, not so much the food the night before. I mean, I think that's all. It's all of varying degrees of importance. As someone who has died in the middle of his last couple marathons, I think it was the last two, right? Yeah, the last two marathons that I ran. I think some of the night before / 48 hours before fueling has been a bit of an issue for me, which I think could have been rescued with better discipline pacing wise. So not so much fueling during the marathon, but not running like an idiot during the marathon. That was my bigger problem. Yeah, Martha says, and this is, I said, definitely agree with this. Martha says, lately I seem to be hearing carb loading something to be done for several days at least, not right before a race. I would agree with that too, because I do think like going from like ingested food to like getting into your system for long-term like sugar stores that you would access like at threshold levels of effort and higher. Like I've been hearing the same thing. Yeah, Steven Gersdorf says, it's not for speed, it's to prevent bonking. Yep, I think we're all on the same. I have a feeling we all kind of are seeing the same things. But, you know, I agree with you guys. That's what I've been seeing. Zach Back says, I had pho the night before a race and it ended up being my best race to date. So now it's a tradition to eat pho before race day. I love those kinds of stories. Who was I listening to? There was a pro athlete who was like, yeah, you know, like I don't really drink a lot of anything before, like during training, like heavy training. But like, you know, one day I think we traveled for a race. I was like super crazy nerves. I couldn't sleep. So I had a beer at like the hotel lobby, like the night, like right before the night before the race. And I did really well. So now I kind of do that every time. I have a feeling that's probably one of those traditions that like, you're like, okay, I've had like 3 or 4 good races now. I don't need to keep doing that, but you know, traditions are fun. But you know, who was I listening to the other day? It wasn't a runner. I wasn't listening. I think I saw, it was one of those like Instagram quote kind of things, or maybe something like that, where someone were like, you know, they intentionally tried to break creating any like running like superstitions or traditions or things like that, because they were like, it can only give you bad luck. You know, like that's what people say, like, oh, I forgot to do XYZ, so I'm not going to have a good race today. So that was like their take on it. So yeah, I don't know. I would say, I mean, I guess you could probably get, I mean, in 2021, you could probably get pho in any city that you were to travel to race to. But I also like to keep things simple. That's why I'm like, you know, the morning of, like bread, almond butter and jelly. You know, those are things that you can usually find, or peanut butter. I don't normally eat peanut butter anymore, but you know, that kind of stuff you can find. I try to like keep it to those kinds of like universally findable things. Frank says, it used to be that people would carb for like a week before they raced and then took in a bunch of carbs right before the race. Oh. Yeah. I mean, to give you something to do during taper week when you're already like, what can I do now? So maybe that's what it is. And Christopher Rochelle asks, do you feel like carbon plated shoes work your calves more? I don't know that they work my calves more. I feel like what they do is they make me feel like I should pick up the pace a little bit more than I normally would, like if it was an easy day. Now, the question then becomes like, why would you wear carbon plated shoes on your easy day? But I think also like on for, let's say you're doing a workout where you have like work phases and rest phases, you know, I feel like it makes you run the rests too hard. Not because it's like, you know, you can't help yourself from running fast, but I feel like it rewards you for running at a certain kind of like cadence and kind of effort. And so you naturally kind of like, your body finds that equilibrium in it. And so you get to that point where you may be running a little bit harder than you can. That's kind of the thing that worries me about it. That being said, I had an easy run on the plate for today. No strides, no nothing, just straight easy run. And I ran in the carbon plated shoe. I ran in the Craft CTM Ultra Carbon, mainly because it was icy out, and I was like, I want to see what this is like running in the shoe easy, but also what is this grip like underfoot. So I did it today, and I did find that like sometimes I was like running a little bit hot. So I think that's how it affects me. Spanish Heart 18 says, the most sketchy meal I had, I like this discussion topic for today. The most sketchy meal I had the night before a race was spicy peanut noodle soup. I learned my lesson. Oh yeah. The other day, my wife, we've been buying food on like Amazon Fresh for our like grocery delivery, and I asked her to get me 2 jalapenos because I wanted a couple of jalapenos. I've been making I always eat kind of a lot of bean tacos. And I was like, can you get me some jalapenos? And she got me 2, but when you get food on Amazon Fresh, sometimes you can't get like 2 of a thing. You have to get 2. You have to get a bag of a thing. So we have 2 bags of jalapenos now. So if, like for a while, when we first got it, I'm like, I'm going to eat all these. And I had some of those jalapenos are hotter than others. And I definitely felt it the next couple of days because I was like, I got to back off of these. This is a mistake. So now I'm just going to, even if I don't get to all the jalapenos, so be it. But I got to back off of those. It's not painful, but it's just, you notice it. So I'm going to try to like take it easy. All right. Recycle on Wednesday says, I just carb load all the time, and in parentheses, and never race. Funny. All right. Luis Becerra says, cornfields on site, or I'd be very worried. That's funny. Rat Chicago says, the adaptation that we're looking for is your body processing what we put in, expecting that it's going to be burned. All right. Instead of like trying to store it away or do anything like that. So that way everything that you want accessible stays accessible. All right. I could see that. Dr. Funk says, any race you didn't poop your pants is a win in my book. I mean, I would say, though, that the best pooping your pants, the best race stories that I hear are the ones when people poop their pants. Like when did Mako win that race that he pooped his pants? I'm pretty sure he did. But I think he won a race. Was it a marathon? He won a marathon, and he had pooped his pants, and his like dad was wiping his butt for him, and he like filmed the whole thing on YouTube. You guys remember that? There was that, and then do you guys remember? No, CC Runner. He won the tunnel marathon like the year before I ran the tunnel marathon. So like I remember watching that video a whole bunch as I was like trying to scope out this race. Is this something I want to do? Trying to figure out like what shoes do I wear for it. I think he pooped himself because he was like, I could either stop and poop and I might lose this race, or I could poop my pants and win. Now I'm gonna win. So he pooped his pants. So like I feel like pooping your pants usually comes with a win for some people, I guess. Maybe it's the price of winning. Milo says, I get anxious before a race, and that's usually what makes me have distress, air quotes. Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. That's why I feel like I constantly have to go. Like, I don't feel like I'm ready for a race unless I've gone to the porta potty 3 or 4 times in a short period of time, usually. And Kerry Smith says, beet juice does work. So maybe that's why is that why people are taking the beet juice? Oh, John Julian says, there's another Chicago guy, Peter Segal, wrote about poop and running in his book. Whoa, I didn't know that. Interesting. All right, Amrud Bandi says, hi from India. Welcome. New Balance Beacon 3 or Reebok for Light Energy 2 for medium to long run distance training. Any thoughts on the New Balance Prism? Great inspiring contact. Thanks. Well, thanks, Amrut. I like them both. I probably lean a little bit more towards, for medium to long distance training, might lean towards Forever Float Ride Energy 2 for most people, because I feel like there's just a little bit more underfoot for that shoe. Both of them have relatively good kind of ground feel. So if you're looking for something that's like super cushioned, neither of those shoes are it. But I do feel like those shoes do feel a little bit lower to the ground, even though there's still plenty of stack height in both of them. But they're a little bit springier, a little bit more rebound. So I like both of those shoes. I would probably pick, I'd like both. I like both of those shoes, but I'd probably prefer the Beacon 3 for a medium to long run. But I think most people would probably look for the float ride, Energy 2. Energy 2? Is the Energy 2? I always forget which is the one that I ran in and which is the one that I have it. I think the Energy 2 might be the float Forever Float Ride Energy 2. That's the one that I run. I ran in the Grow version. But that one has a little bit more in the heel as well, or it feels like there's a little bit more softness in the heel. So for a medium long run, I'd probably go with that. All right. You guys are talking about beets, that color. Frank says talking about poop, beets equals red poop. And Carrie's the red P too. Carl J says going to the bathroom after eating beets for the first time, terrified. Oh, it's so funny. And Scott says 2 food items I never eat are beets and olives. Why not the olives though? That's interesting. Yeah, vegetables go off says thanks for the reminder. Must get back on the beets. Beetroot and feta quiche. That sounds delicious. What color does that come out? Do you have purple beets or red beets for that one? Does the whole thing come out kind of like looks like red and yellow? Does it come out like orange? I bet it probably comes out like a purple color, right? Or does the color not seep into the eggs? Interesting. Namaste says Dwight from The Office loved beets. That's true. That's true. Oh man, I'm really far behind. I missed a whole bunch of the chat. Sorry guys. Let's see. Rat Chicago says, you never hear about elite athletes not being able to get their oatmeal down in the morning. You hear them not being able to process anything else when they reach their threshold in a long effort. Interesting. Yeah, I think you're right. Carrie Smith says, carbon-plated shoes beat up the soles of my feet. Yeah, I mean, I've heard that from some people, like because of the way that it like shoots back up. But yeah, I'm not sure I've ever experienced that. I'll have to kind of like listen for that, I guess is not the right word, but kind of what I'm thinking. All right. Oh, looks like Remy's here. What's going on, Remy? He is at a board meeting with time to spare. Awesome. Nice. All right. Martha says, real maple syrup on oatmeal, a good before breakfast. That sounds good. I think I got to figure out oatmeal some more. I think I need to eat more of it. I like the flavors. Or maybe I just got to get my wife's granola recipe and eat that. I do like that. All right, let's scroll down a little bit. Sorry if I missed your guys' comments. Yeah. Stevie76 says, always stress out the night before a marathon thinking about the pre-race dinner. I do too. It's always really stressful. I don't know what's worse, thinking about the pre-race dinner in your town or if you've traveled to a race. I don't know if you've done a lot of traveling for races, Stevie, but I've done it a couple of times and I'm like, do I want to go try and find a restaurant? I didn't make a reservation. I'm by myself, I don't really feel like eating a restaurant by myself. I'd rather, because I probably have made some sort of travel vlog too. So I'd rather like edit the video or look at the footage while I'm eating. So do I get takeout? Do I do room service? Room service always seems unappealing to me. Even if I stay in a nicer hotel, just room service always seems like a bad idea. And then I'm like, oh, do I go to Whole Foods? I usually end up going to Whole Foods. I usually end up getting the pizza from Whole Foods, and I always regret it. Look at this dog. My daughter's been playing with the dog a lot, and the dog's like half asleep, half being played with. He's fun. He's got all 4 feet in the air. Crazy. Yeah, so that stresses me out. And then if I'm in town, then I get stressed out because my wife, she always wants to be very supportive, and she's like, "What do you want me to make you something special for today's dinner? Do you want me to order something, your favorite pasta, whatever?" And I'm always like, "No. Let's just whatever we were gonna have for dinner. Let's just have what we were gonna have for dinner." I try not to make too big a deal of it. Jeff Elliott says, didn't Mako have poop and chafing issues? Well, I think he had the poop issue first, which then led to the chafing in that one race. I don't know if he frequently has that happen to him, but it happened to him in that race. I miss that guy. Ben Ryan says, I'd hate to poop my pants and not win. Can you imagine that? You were like, you know what? I mean, I don't know because I've only one time like won a race as an adult, but it doesn't really count because it was on a Disney cruise. But like, can you imagine being like thinking, all right, I really got to go, but like I could possibly win. Here's what, okay, brain, body, here's the deal. We might poop the pants, but we're going to win it. And then if you come in like third and you've got poop on your pants, I mean, I still actually got third. I'd be ecstatic with a podium. But, you know, you didn't quite get the benefit of your bargain there. All right. Zach Bag says, speaking of sketchy meals, my friend ate something that gave him the runs during a race. Lucky for him, the race course passed right by our friend's house, so he was able to use the restroom mid-race. Oh, I mean, how do you, like, okay, let's say you rung the doorbell. Like, do you just run in or do you explain and ask? Like, how do, that's what I want to know. Or was he like texting ahead of time? I'm like 2 miles from your house. Just open the doorway from your front door to the bathroom and wait for me. Like, I need it. Like, how does that work? Remy says, I've gone into a few races prepared to sell myself for a PR. Thankfully, it's never come to that. Is that where all our minds are going? Like, I don't know. Other like elite athletes are like, today is a good day to die. Like Prefontaine quotes. And the rest of us like, yeah, I'll poop my pants for like 15 seconds off that 5K time. Because I feel like that's probably pretty accurate. I've never thought of it that way before, but before my next race, I'm for sure going to be like, yeah. Well, on the plus side, if I poop, it probably means I've got like a good 12, 15 seconds. All right. Jungdo Kim says, quick question, newbie to running. Started having a right ankle pain. Is it because of Achilles? It could be because of a lot of things. I mean, the Achilles is that part that's on the way back, connecting kind of like the top of your heel bone to your lower calf. So that's that part that's back there. If that's the part that you're talking about when you say ankle pain, then that is your Achilles. Your Achilles pain will hurt in your Achilles. If like other parts of your ankle hurt, like it's tender to step on it in certain ways or put weight on it, then it could be like something going on mechanically with the ankle joint itself. A lot of things that it could be. The first thing that I would look at is, how are your shoes doing? Especially you say that you're a newbie to running. If you've been running in the same pair of shoes for a while, or if you've started and done what I normally recommend to people is just get out there and start. And all of a sudden you've been doing it for a while and you're starting to notice, I'm getting some aches and pains. Now might be the time to start looking at a different running shoe for you. So those are the things I would look at first. That dog, he's exhausted today. All fours in the air. It's really entertaining my daughter. All right. Josh says, isn't the start of Boston uphill? I heard there's a wave of urine that comes down the hill. I don't know. I've never run the race before. I mean, the course from the start line forward is downhill for a while. Everyone talks about how they go out really fast. And I remember watching right when like the pandemic started, NBC Sports replayed 2014 to like 2019. Like every like other day they played a new one. And so I recorded them all and I watched them all like right in a row. And that first, I think, couple of miles is just all downhill. But maybe to get to that point, maybe it is uphill. But that's pretty funny that there's like a river of pee. That'd be funny. Oh, man. Uh-oh. All right, guys. I think it's time to get going. My camera just died. I don't know. I have the settings correct, but it overheated. Really doesn't do that. But, we've gone long today. I'm not going to try and fix it. I think we'll end it here. Tomorrow's video is going to be, like I said, Carbon X versus, Rocket X versus Carbon X2. And then we'll do the live stream with Jamie. So come by for that. Say hi. Bring any questions that you have. He may answer them or he may not. Probably he won't. He'll answer with some sort of nonsense because Jamie likes to play. But we'd love to have you guys here as well and give them a nice warm welcome. In the meantime, be safe and warm out there, everybody. See you in the next one.